again. And then to further that, government agencies that are using something that has a known exploit that's occurring is waiting till December 9th.
This episode is made possible by OIT VoIP. Find your best-in-class revenue generation for MSPs all over the world. Learn more via the link in the show notes.
Good morning and welcome to the November 30th episode of MSP Dispatch, your source for news, community events, and commentary in the MSP channel. My name is Tony Francisco, and I am your Sherpa in the voyage of IT, MSP, security, and anxiety. And today we're going to cover some great stories to keep you all educated so we can do something really good and better this community. Let's jump into the first story. In our first story, Department of Justice, which I know well, tells Google, hey, you got to sell Chrome. In a story from TechCrunch.com, the U.S. Department of Justice has proposed that Google sell its Chrome browser to address the company's illegal monopoly in online search. The DOJ argues that Chrome, along with Android, strengthens Google's search dominance and limits competition. The department suggested other remedies, including spinning off Android and prohibiting Google from making exclusionary third-party contracts, such as with Apple. In response, Google claimed that the Department of Justice proposal would harm users, degrade services like Chrome and Android, and hurt the U.S.'s global tech standing. Google is expected to file a response next month. A final decision on the case, which could reshape the internet, will be made in 2025 by District Court Judge Amit Mehta. For those of you out there who have not gone through the Microsoft, we need to break up Microsoft, all the kids out there are saying, wait, when did that happen? It happened, trust me. Anyway, the moral of the story is you have this breakup and then it reconsolidates. We're watching it over and over and over. This happens a lot. So my question to everyone here is, what are the expectations that we have here? Is it from an optics perspective that we're looking for a fair play mechanism, or is there an actual governance that's taking place to achieve something outside of this particular definition of, we'll call it competition? So I would love some opinions from those out there. Should there be other browsers? Is it DuckDuckGo? Do you use Brave? Do you just use a standard Chrome browser? Are you still using Netscape? I don't know what you're using. I'm very interested to hear what the MSP community is using. I'm pretty certain that all of you, if you are worth your salt, are standardizing on this is the browser we're going to use because this is what we can support and here's how we're going to support it. We're explaining why you need to use this particular browser. And here are ways to obfuscate other browsers in the attempt of them trying to open the other browsers or install the other browsers. Here's a way that we can detect who is breaching the agreement that you originally proposed and you're trying to support for your customers. I'm very interested to see how you're moving forward with that. But that being said, we're probably not going to know much until next year. And even then, I think it's going to take at least a couple of years to dismantle something that's so tightly wound. So with that, let's jump into our next story. Over 2,000 Palo Alto Firewalls hacked using recently patched bugs. In a story from bleepingcomputer.com, hackers have exploited two recently patched zero-day vulnerabilities in Palo Alto Network's firewalls, affecting over 2,000 devices. The flaw includes authentication bypass that grants administrator access and a privilege escalation bug enabling attackers to execute root commands. Palo Alto Networks first warned customers on November 8th to restrict firewall access and is now investigating attacks where malware and commands were deployed on compromised devices. Despite claims of limited impact, over 2,700 vulnerable devices were identified and noted significant compromise. CISA has added these flaws to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, requiring federal agencies to patch by December 9th. Customers are strongly urged to restrict firewall management access to trusted internal IP addresses. I would like to state some opinion on this. First things first, I'm glad that they're stepping up and they're acknowledging that they have a problem. I personally am a huge reservoir of do's and don'ts. Don't do these things. Do these other things. You can do these things if you like. The outcome is probably predictable because I've done them, and here's probably me on video somewhere doing it. In this particular case, not only is Palo Alto Networks saying, hey, listen, we have an issue. and we're patching these immediately. But we're also finding another part that's interesting here, where the patched servers themselves, the firewalls, were exploited again. And then to further that, government agencies that are using something that has a known exploit that's occurring is waiting till December 9th to patch. I'm concerned about this. If you know that there is a government agency that's using a certain device that has a very exploitable zero-day bug, which is probably documented, who's stopping them from going there? Then what are the measures behind that firewall to track who is coming in and out of this exploitation process? So I'm curious as how that's actually going to work. I would just say just do it now. With the onslaught of security concerns and exploitations that we're all facing, it's important to say, why don't you just do it quickly? But there is a priority list. Moving some of these items to the top should be mandatory. So for the MSP audience that I'm talking to right now, maybe that's what we should do, is create that list. And those are what I would consider to be revenue generating opportunities because your customers are willing to pay for them. So with that, let's kind of wrap this up because, I get pretty heated about this stuff. Security. In the meantime, what we should probably talk about? Community events. We have some upcoming community events on December 3rd through the 5th, an in-person event, GrowCon 24, presented by Marketopia. That's in St. Petersburg, Florida. On December 10th, an in-person event, MSP Growth Day, presented by Technology Marketing Toolkit in La Jolla, California. And on December 11th, an in-person event, MSP M&A Growth Show, presented by Channel Program in Dallas, Texas. To everyone out there listening, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. With that, everyone out there, I want you to stay involved in the community. We have just talked about community events that are live, that are virtual. Another virtual event is in our Discord server. In 3, 2, 1, boom, there it is. So stay involved in Discord. You've got amazingly intelligent people talking about the things that frankly aren't talked about here and talked about these particular items much further from many perspectives. So get involved in the Discord server. Out of everything though, please, to the entire community out there, be safe, stay educated. Until next time.
If you found this episode eye-opening, catch more MSP Dispatch at 10 a.m. throughout the week. Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.